Mario Marcus.
I'm Ryan.
And together,
we are the Northwest Sports Fanatics.
Now, week 15 is officially in the books. 2 more games left.
Yeah, almost at the end.
We getting down to crunch time. Teams fighting for playoff seeding. Big time players step up in this time. So I'm going to go over a couple of my standout players as well as Orion. On the defensive side, I'll kick it off on the offensive side of the ball. And also we'll go over our power rankings, NBA power rankings, and our NBA players of the week. First off, at the quarterback position, I'm going to start off with Mr. Matt Castle.
Who?
Matt Castle.
No kidding.
You remember when he filled in for Tom Brady and they went 11-5 and the Chiefs paid him a big payday?
I remember that.
Hey, he's back, man. At least for one game.
One game.
All right. He had a good game against the Eagles, an upset win in Minnesota. 382 yards, 2 touchdowns, and huge loss for the Eagles because the Cowboys also lost too.
All right.
They lost a chance to gain some ground there. Next up, my running back. I'm going to go with Mr. Eddie Lacy.
From?
Bama. And you know Bama players, they always roll tide. And he 141 yards, 1 touchdown in a huge comeback game against the Cowboys.
Right. You got to run the ball if you want to win.
You hear that, Jason Garrett? You got to run the ball. Before the year, he has over 1,000 yards. The first running back to get over 1,000 yards for the Packers since not Dorsey Levens, Brian Grant.
Yeah.
That's been a couple of years there. And for my receiver, usually running backs don't make this list, but Mr. Jamal Charles.
Wow, what a game that he had, huh?
Wow. To me, probably one of the most underrated players in the league right now. He only had 8 carries for 20 yards running the ball, but you ain't have to give him the ball. You could just throw it to him. 8 receptions, 195 yards, and peep this, 4 touchdowns.
Wow.
What a great game by Mr. Charles out there. And KC won and they clinched the playoff seed. They went from worst record in the league to now they in the playoffs.
And you got to think he's probably moving up and gaining ground over Arian Foster and AP with some of these injuries. Jamal Charles is definitely up in the upper echelon of the top running backs in the league. I
say he definitely deserves a couple of MVP votes this year.
Yeah, pretty solid this year.
All right, what about on the defensive side of the ball? Any standout players?
Yeah, a couple of defensive players. First one, I want to shout out a player from a team that lost on the Eagles, Mr. Michael Kendricks. He's one of my favorite linebackers in the league. 5 tackles, 1 sack, 1 pick. Tough game for them. You lost 48-30. I don't think anyone really thought that they were going to lose, but you still got to shout out a good performance. Right. Obviously by the linebacking core there. Michael Kendricks, shout out to you. Nice game for you. Next, I want to go to a player that had some problems earlier in the year, and it's starting to make his way back, Mr. Alden Smith.
Oh, okay.
All right, so Alden Smith, 4 tackles, 2 sacks. He had a rough little patch there with the DUI and having to go into treatment, but he's got 8.5 sacks so far. Missed a few games, so that's pretty solid, and helped obviously beat my Bucks 33-14. So Alden Smith, shout out to you. And if you want to make a nice little Super Bowl run, I think they're going to have to lean on him to really give them a key push as we move forward. And last but not least, probably my favorite DN in the league right now, Mr. Robert Quinn.
Oh
man, Robert Quinn, 5 tackles, 2 sacks, 1 forced fumble. This guy's gaining ground year after year,
yes, he is.
Game after game, and believe it or not, he's at 15 sacks at DN position and 7 forced fumbles for the year as well. So that's a nice key stat for him, and he's only 1.5 from the Mr. OG, Robert Mathis. So if Robert Quinn plays like this for a couple more games, it's not impossible to think that he'll be the sack leader, obviously, at the end of the year at the DN position over a linebacker. So nice stat for Robert Quinn. Those are my 3 standouts there, obviously. And the Rams had a nice win over the Saints. Got to kind of mention that, too. Obviously, Saints that was a must-win for them. And the Rams obviously showed their D is a little bit better than average, that you can say. So what about power rankings for NFL? What are we looking like this week?
For the National Football League, Northwest Sports Fanatics, top 5 teams.
All right.
First off, Seattle, they held serve. 12-2, best record in the NFL. They all but looking like a guaranteed lock for that number 1 seed. So the road to the Super Bowl is going to go through Seattle, and that with that 12th man out there, that's not a place you want to play in out there.
Right. Kind of helps when you have Eli throw 5 picks too, though.
Oh yeah, 5 picks. To me, they're the best all-around team in the league right now.
Yeah, I would agree.
Next up, shout out to Mr. Richard Gatewood out there.
Gatewood!
San Francisco 49ers.
Up and coming.
Wow. Don't look now, but the 49ers are 10-4. They won 9 out of their last 11. And as you know, with the NFL and the playoffs, it's not who's hot at the beginning. It's who's hot at the right time.
Right.
And watch out, man. The 49ers, they on a little roll there. The third team we have here is the Denver Broncos. You know, they coming off a loss to the Chargers. That's sitting at 11-3. Still the number one seeds right now so far in the AFC. So I think that deserves a top 3 ranking here. But the thing that concerns me is Wes Welker. He's still out with the concussion.
Huge concern.
Yeah. And you only had 18 yards rushing against the Chargers. Where you at? Monte Ball, no Sean Moreno?
Yeah, I don't know. They're really going to have to correct these mistakes if they want to make a key run. Otherwise, a surprise team like maybe the Patriots, might steal one away. And, we've seen it before. So they really need to get their act together if they want to make this key run.
All right, next up, we're going to go number 4, the Carolina Panthers.
Up and coming.
Great win for the Panthers. They sitting at 10-4. They went out and beat the New York Jets with their strong defense. Watch out, man. They're 2 wins away from. Let me say this: 2 wins away from winning the NFC South and the number 2 seed.
Yeah, I would say put a stamp on it. It's going to happen because the Saints have obviously shown. I was high on them at the beginning of the year, but they can't win a game on the road. Breeze is a totally different quarterback, especially if it's not turf. If it's cold, it's grass, it's outside and on the road. They just have problems. So I would say Carolina at home will beat the Saints this weekend, and they should take care of Atlanta. And don't be surprised if you see the Panthers at that number 2 spot with home field.
Wow, who would have thought that coming into the year?
I don't think anybody.
And the last team I have here is the Kansas City Chiefs at number 5. Shout out to Jimmy Whitaker, 11-3. And all I gotta say is Jamal Charles. That's enough said for me.
Right, Derek Johnson on that defensive side of the ball as well. Unbelievable.
Wow. So they're having a great year under Mr. Andy Reid, and we do have a couple of games to watch.
Okay.
This upcoming weekend. First off, I'm gonna go, of course, the Carolina Panthers versus the New Orleans Saints.
Ooh, showcase game.
Wow, this is a huge game. They're fighting for the NFC South. They're both sitting at 10-4. I give the edge to the Panthers right now.
I think I do too, because like I said, I haven't seen Breeze be able to play consistently on that high level on the road, and you're going to need that, especially if the D is kind of wishy-washy from game to game. You're going to need to have Breeze throw 3, 4, 5 touchdowns on the road, and to be honest, I don't think he can do it.
All right, and next up, we're going to go the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Chicago Bears.
Nice smash mouth game.
Wow, this is a huge game with playoff implications there.
Right.
The Bears, they just got Jay Cutler back. They trying to maintain. They sitting in first place right now.
Right.
And the Eagles, they holding on with help from the Cowboys. So that should be a huge game. And the last game I want to talk about, their Skins. Versus the Cowboys.
Right.
Though nothing else matter, we can be 0-14, 0-15. You gotta beat the Cowboys, man.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough game. Both teams have had kind of up and down years. You can say, obviously
more
for the
down
least.
for us.
More down, obviously. But like I said, if you do get that nice victory over the Cowboys, I think it would make the season at least a little bit of a success. And Dallas does have the number 32 ranked D, obviously in the league. So there is some wiggle room for Cousins to make some plays.
Man, he actually had a pretty good game against Atlanta. So shout out to Kirk Cousins. Big game for the Dallas Cowboys there. They need to win to keep pace. Now, we're going to transition over to the NBA.
NBA, ballin'!
You got some NBA power rankings over there?
Yeah, we got some NBA power rankings. So we'll start off number 5. We're going to go 18-6, Miami Heat. Okay. Now, I assume they're going to be, climbing higher and higher as the weeks come along. But little injuries. LeBron had a little ankle injury, twisted it up a little bit. They're playing the Pacers on TV right now. So if they do win this game, that'll obviously move them up in the rankings. Okay. But the one thing I really like is that it gives D. Wade and Bosh time to shine. So if LeBron, takes a little time off and, maybe doesn't play every game, it can show D. Wade isn't, obviously the old D. Wade, but maybe a little flash D. Wade.
To me right now, the Heat coasting, man. They did it last year. They started off slow. Everybody's what's wrong with the Heat, Then they went on to win, 26 in a row?
Right.
So they just coasting right now.
Yeah, and like I said, getting Michael Beasley back to 100% is a big key for them too.
Huge.
Because obviously with other role players, you don't really know what you're going to get from Norris Cole and some of these other guys obviously coming in. So shout out to the Heat at number 5. You'll be obviously going up higher very shortly. Number 4, San Antonio Spurs.
The Spurs.
OGs. Right, the OGs. They're 19-5. Manu Ginobili. People were wanting him out of town. After the whole playoff debacle.
I said you was done, Manu. Man, I put you on the milk carton and.
We had you on the milk carton. We thought maybe your career was over, but 12.6 point per game, 5 assists. It's not the greatest numbers. Obviously he was higher, in years past, 15, 16 points a game, but pretty solid, and he does play good D, pretty good shooter, and he's crafty.
Right.
He's learned all the secrets from Duncan, obviously Parker and Popovich, so you can never count the Spurs out, and I assume that they'll be going on a run here pretty soon too.
Yeah.
So obviously look for them to keep moving up. Number 3, this was a tough one for me because I had to flip-flop between two teams, but I think for now I'm going to have to go Oklahoma City Thunder.
Okay.
I was going to say Pacers just because of the win streak, but I'll put the Thunder here for now, and if you win a couple more, you're going to be a lot higher. But 20-4. All right, nice team. Obviously, you beat the Nuggets last night. It was a tough game, but they found a way to win, but you're 7 games in on a win streak right now, and I don't really see them slowing down anytime soon. And KD is peaking right now. Looks like an MVP year for KD. So, and obviously Westbrook is getting on that same page as well. So they're winning some games. What do you think? What do you think about the Thunder?
That's a real dangerous team there. And I just watched the Thunder game the other night, and the one thing that stood out for me was Jeremy Lamb.
Right.
He's came in and took that 6-man role that Kevin Martin had last year.
Right.
And he's shining. And he's not afraid to take shots, and he's hitting the shots that he's giving. And also Steven Adams.
Right.
He gives him a little toughness there. Not afraid. He's going to battle. He's going to do all the dirty work, set screens. So shout out to the Thunder there, man.
Yeah, especially with Kendrick Perkins getting so old. I heard his name on the trade block a little bit. So to get that rookie in there, to get some bang on the boards, get a couple fouls, gives him a little bit of that toughness, like you said. And like I said, the Thunder are pretty solid. I mean, from top to bottom, are they as good with James Harden and without James Harden? No, but you're still one of the best teams in the West, and the West is stacked. So shout out to the Thunder. Number 2, this was tough for me, but I'll have to go Indiana Pacers. Okay. They've been sitting number 1 all year, 20-4. The only reason I bumped them down a little bit is because you had a loss to the Pistons, your first one at home. But you're still looking pretty good. But one thing that I did want to mention, Paul George is on a little bit of a slump right now. He's averaging 14 points a game and 27% shooting the last 3 to 4 games. So tonight's game might change that, and I think teams are starting to figure out how to guard him.
That's what I was just about to say.
They're closing out on him a little bit better. They're kind of doubling him up a little bit. So, I mean, what about the games have you seen? What have you seen from Paul George?
For me, he started off hot, but in the NBA and in the NFL and in the MLB, it's all about adjustments, man. These are professional players. This is what they get paid to do. So they're going to make their adjustments to the success that you've been having.
Absolutely. And like I said, I don't see Paul George averaging 14 and 27% shooting that much longer. No. He's such a superstar. You're going to get on that next level, and he'll be right back at that 20.
It's a long year, man. It's a long year. You expect to have a little slumps every now.
Right. And then you're playing the Heat tonight. So their team is pretty good for team defense, too. So we'll see if they turn it around. And then number 1, drum roll, please, are Portland Trailblazers.
Rip City.
Like, I don't even know. I'm almost in this dream world. Is this really happening? Portland Trailblazers, number 1,
really happening.
22-4, right? Nice, solid game winners by Damian Lillard. Very clutch. We obviously got a late basket there against the Pistons. That was a nice win, obviously there in overtime. Cavs with that late 3-pointer last night. Me mugging the crowd after he won. Damian Lillard. I think that you got to wait to see how he progresses, but I would say it's fair to say he's a top 6 point guard right now in the league. I think it's fair to say. I don't think he's number 1 yet, but he's getting there slowly but surely. But LaMarcus Aldridge, you got to put his name in now for MVP. I mean, is he going to win it? Probably not. But you got to throw his name out there. He has been Player of the Week quite a few times. We're playing the T-Wolves right now on TV. I don't know how it's going to end up, but it's going to be a battle, and we're probably going to have to come back by 10 or more to make a little run, because that's just how the games have been going lately. But shout out to Portland Trailblazers, number 1. It'll shift, from week to week, but we'll see how things go. And Rip City.
Rip City all day, man. They actually playing good. My thing about the Blazers is that I'm going to need Batum I'm going to need Wesley Matthews, and I'm going to need Robin Lopez to stay consistent. Because those, you know what you're going to get out of LA, and you know what you're going to get out of Lillard.
Right.
But those other three players is the key, and they're playing well, and that's the reason why they sitting at number one.
I think the bench also too. Mo Williams, Thomas Robinson, Darrell Wright.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these are key players that are actually contributing, not just giving them garbage points and garbage time, garbage minutes. They're actually producing when they get in there. Even Joe Freeland. So, and the scary thing is C.J. McCollum.
That's what I was just about to say. He coming back soon.
C.J. McCollum, our rookie, top 10 pick. Yeah. He hasn't played all year. We're about to get him rolling, and hopefully he'll play. And Victor Claver, another nice little shooter, a little Rudy Fernandez clone. He hasn't played really all year either. So it's up and up for the Blazers for now. So it's an exciting time here in the Northwest.
Yes, sir. So shout out to the Blazers there. Just want to go over the NBA Players of the Week. In the East, we got Mr. Kyrie Irving. Wow, great week that he had. He averaged 29 points, 6 assists, 2 steals, and he shot 40% from the three-point range. He led the Cavs to a 2-1 record. And in the East, for the third time this season, Mr. LaMarcus Aldridge.
Yeah.
Man, he's just on beast mode right now, man. He just snatched your name, Marshawn Lynch, for right now. He averaged 25 points. Get this. Everybody always say he's soft.
Right.
He averaged 14 rebounds last week.
Pretty solid.
Wow. 14 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 block, and of course the Blazers went 4-0. So those are the NBA Players of the Week. Thank y'all for tuning in. I want to give a special shout out to my homeboy Stacey Tucker, man. Good to see you. You made it back home, man. You had everybody worried and sick. So shout out to you, man. I'll be home in DC soon. You can hit me up on Twitter, MarcusHill_NWSF.
And Orion_NWSF.
Hit us up on Facebook.com/NW Sports Fanatics.
We want to shout out all our sponsors. We appreciate all the love and support that we're getting.
Shout out to my man Banner Bob for the banner in the background. Hit him up at thesignShack.net. Also follow us on Instagram at NW Sports Fanatics.
One quick thing also too, anybody that has a question for us that want to go over, hit us up, let us know, and we'll go over that. And obviously, we'll be happy to do that anytime.
All right, hit us up, and we'll go over the questions. We'll get them answered for you. I'm Marcus. This old Ryan,
and together we are Northwest Sports Fanatics.